Welcome into another episode of Scurry and the Scrub. Geez, I almost messed up that intro right there, but glad you guys are tuning back in. We are happy, obviously. Jay's coming off two big wins, men's and women's this weekend. Got a lot of nice Big East recap to go over here. Matt, how you doing on this fine Sunday evening?
Yeah, bro, you got to introduce us. You got to let people know who we are. Sweet.
Yeah, man.
Not everybody can see our faces.
Sorry, my fault. I always forget. I am Scurry. I'm Scurry in the Scrub.
He's Jordan Scurry. Your name is Jordan Scurry.
Jordan Scurry.
The name your mama gave you.
The name my mama gave me. This is true.
Jordan Scurry. I'm Matt Marinas. Jordan's gonna get us right. He's gonna get us right with this intro, but yeah, dude, we're ready to rock. We're ready to talk some Big East. Yeah,
we got a lot. I'm excited.
A full week of like good ass games to go through, right? Like that was a good week. I think we started this thing at the right time because we had like a good sample size to digest, and then like a good week of games here to like talk about again. I think we got a good going.
Now I think we definitely see like what the the identities are starting to become of these Big East teams.
Yeah.
And so we have kind of a storyline to build out. I'm excited to see how it's going to keep going.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. Like for sure, a lot of these teams are starting to like show us who they are a little bit, especially because most of them are I don't know. I think on both on the men and women's side, they're pretty experienced, right? Like I don't know if there's any unknowns left. Is there any team on? I mean, you're not very like tuned in with the women. I'll handle that part. But like, is there anybody that top of mind right now? You're still trying to figure out who they are, or do you think you got
DePaul? Still DePaul.
Really? You're not buying the Louisville stuff, huh?
I don't know yet. I just like because I'm not sold. I will say it's the most impressive I've seen since probably my freshman year, like that they rolled out there. But other than that, I'm not sold yet. So you're gonna have to help me make sense of that one.
We're gonna have to help each other out tonight because I got some hot takes that are probably not going to age very well, but I'm gonna say them anyway. And then I'll try to like get you right, and then you try to get me right. If we're flying too close to the sun, you know.
That's I think our objective for the night is we gotta help each other really figure out the Big East.
Yeah,
we have to come to a consensus.
The key is we just can't fly too close to the sun at the same time. Like if you're too close, I got to pull you back, and if I'm too close, if we both get too close to the sun at the same time, this thing is going to go off the rails pretty good.
Right. We keep each other in check. That's what we do here.
Exactly. So for the first thing on DePaul though, because you brought them up, like wow. I was thinking about this when they were pretty much like handling Louisville. Like that was like a game I felt like DePaul was controlling, which surprised me. Like David Jones, I think his name is.
Mm-hmm.
That man cooked the Yum Center. Like cooked it.
So you actually want to know my thing about DePaul though too? Before I want to let you finish, but before you do, I think the thing about DePaul now and why there's like I get why people are starting to believe is they're so detached from what they used to be kind of, and guys who are there now don't know that DePaul was like kind of just a through before.
Yeah.
Just relishing in this opportunity to compete at the level in which a Big East team competes at.
Well, like the first thing that like jumps out to you that makes you think like you're kind of watching with like one eye, like, and you're like, maybe, what's that meme where she's like, you know, what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
That's like kind of what you watch DePaul like when you're watching the full game of them.
Just it's that skepticism, because that's it.
Yes, it's healthy skepticism because of their history, but I just like, you know, with Dave Lato and like Oliver Purnell, you never saw dudes like maximize. Like maybe one or two guys like stood out to you in terms of like, oh yeah, he's getting all of his money's worth. Like he's maximizing his potential. Because like Paul Reed right now, like you look at Paul Reed right now and you go, dude, that dude could have ruled the league. He could have ruled the Big East. You know what I mean?
And remember, he played with Max Strus.
Yeah, Strus too.
Like, that was a team.
That was a
Think
squad.
About that.
They were on this. They could have like that's like a team. Like if you stick like Jay Wright in there, that's 18-0 easy. Like you're not getting them. You better get them once and that's it. Like
so that's why you're sold then on.
Well, I'm not sold. Hold up, I'm not sold. I have here's my crazy thing that you might. This is crazy part number one where you might have to calm me down. But so it's Tony Stubblefield, right? Is his name? Is that his first name, Tony? I should. What?
I don't know.
I'm not even ready to talk Big East. I gotta look this up. I just know his name's. I just know they call him Stubbs, so I gotta make sure I got this right. Yeah, I'm right. Tony Stubblefield. Yeah. Okay. See, I got knowledge in my head somewhere. Tony Stubblefield for DePaul, right? 8-1 right now. Just beat Louisville on the road. Looked really good doing it. Beat Rutgers, who just beat Purdue. And then TJ Otzelberger, Iowa State, undefeated, top 15 surprise team of the season so far, right?
Yes, I would agree with that.
Okay, hold up though. So take those two, and then look at Fred Hoiberg at Nebraska and Chicago Bulls if you want to. I don't care. And then Dana Altman at Oregon, and then think about Otzelberger and him being like Fred Hoiberg's top assistant at Iowa State, and think about Stubblefield being Dana's top assistant at Oregon. How much of Oregon and Iowa State's like emergence to national prominence, where they like, Oregon made a Final Four, Iowa State made some deep into the tournament runs, like went to the Sweet 16, yada yada. Like, how much of that is the dudes who are leading their own programs now, and versus like the guys who are at Oregon and Nebraska?
Right. Wait.
Because I remember when Dana left Creighton, it's not like he was rolling. You know what I mean?
Right,
they were like in the CBI his final year before he went to Oregon. Mm-hmm. So like how much of like credit of Oregon and Iowa State's credit for those guys belongs to Stubblefield and Otzelberger right now, and how much of it is well earned for Hoiberg and Dana Altman?
Okay. So you're saying that they get,
because this is Oregon's first year without Stubblefield. Look how bad they look right now.
Okay.
I mean, they lost 81-49 to BYU, like in Portland.
I did see that.
You know what I'm saying? So am I crazy or?
No, I think you have a point.
Okay.
I don't know to what extent the credit is due, but there's definitely credit.
A lot of credit due. Like
A healthy. Like we should definitely be talking about it right now.
Oh, okay. See that you're with me then. All right.
Yeah. No, because I think something needs to be said for that, because I just think there's a total difference of guys who like know how to run a program and guys who know how to coach. Like there's a whole there's the difference there, and I think that's what highlights it there. Like I think a good example, and I even texted you during the game, was like seeing D-Rock. Like D-Rock, Darian DeVries at Drake. Like he's the kind of coach who can run a program. Like he is a leader type of he has that command of a locker room type. Like and that comes from somewhere. Like, and for a lot of these guys along the way, it came from somewhere. So to see a guy like Stubbs come in, and I think that's what you're ultimately saying. Like, that's where he got it from, right? Like knowing how to run it. You have to know how to run a program. And clearly he was part of that. Like that was like he's taken that over. So yeah, credit to him. Credit to, I guess, Altman and Ossenberg. Like all credit to those guys for like actually running programs and like knowing that that's kind of the way, I guess that's the blueprint for success, I guess, if you're going to inherit a team like a DePaul, right?
Yeah. And honestly, like they still have some proving to do. Like DePaul hasn't gone through the Big East yet. Iowa State hasn't jumped into Big 12 play. So like, I might be jumping the gun here, but I'm just saying, if I look at like what Hoiberg did without Otzelberger, and then like I try not to just cherry pick Dana's resume and say like, oh, look at all these good years at Oregon. Like, and I'm really like looking back at like how he left Creighton, you know what I mean? Like how Creighton was trending when he went to Oregon. I'm just like, maybe there's something to it. I'm like convincing myself as I'm going along here. So maybe by the end of the year, I'll look back on this moment and think I was going crazy, but I don't know if I am right now.
I don't know if you are right now. You definitely have grounds for that argument right now. So I'm glad you brought it up early.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, they're like 8-1 combined. So this is when I'm front running. I'm front running. That's okay.
But I'm glad you brought it up now too, because that is my biggest concern with DePaul. I don't know how they'll fare in the Big East. So I think give me 3 games for them into.
Okay, so here's so I guess the question then is like for you is How many Big East wins does DePaul need to have to like to justify what I'm thinking they are versus what you think they might still be, like in terms of their past coming back?
How many games total? How many games total in Big East play?
Yeah, how many dubs? How many conference play dubs?
How many games total are there?
20. How many do they need to win this year to convince you that I'm warm?
I'm gonna need.
I can see in your mind you still thinking this is DePaul. I can see you like wanting to say
really
4.
I am. But I'm trying to be generous right now.
I know you are, but you also want to say like 4 because it's DePaul.
Yeah.
You want to be disrespectful, but like you want to be right at the same time. I can see you struggling with this.
If DePaul can give me over
You almost said 10. You almost said 500 better. I could see it. That's most.
Because what I want to say is 13, like that in my head.
13 like, dubs for DePaul.
If they get, that's when I'll be like, 7? All right,
what?
You're saying to make me think they're legit.
That might win the league, dude. 13 and 7.
Yeah, that's legit.
You want them to win the league to prove they're legit? I think that's not very generous. Damn, they're still DePaul.
Okay. For them to prove to me, I will say
maybe Western Illinois by a point or something. I thought.
I want to. Yeah. No, I'll say 10.
Give me like 6. Give me 6 and 14. You're not gonna. That's not good enough.
I need
in this league. Damn.
Yeah, it's a tough league, but that's what I'm saying. Like I need them to. For them to be legit, I need 10. No, I'll give them 8 now because we want to be generous. 8 plus.
So they need to win 8 games for you to be like, for you to give them like a golf clap.
Yes.
Damn, that's some. I feel like you're being harsh.
I am.
But all right, that's like,
maybe I just have high standards. Maybe I have high standards.
Hey, man, you've won a regular season title in the Big East. Hey, you come from royalty, so.
I was just about to say, I went to Creighton. I don't know. My standards are pretty high.
Exactly. You got championship rings, so like you got so yes, that's fair.
Like 4. Do you know what kind of? I've never gone into a season thinking 4 wins. I'm like, yes.
Right. Exactly.
No, I'm not wired that way. Sorry. I'm trying to get there, but I'm only a year removed still. I'm sorry.
I can't wait till you like have grandkids and like you embellish all these like crazy ass stories about how good your team was. You know what I mean? Like
and how I was and how much bounce I they're gonna think I was like the most athletic, like I guess most athletic scout team player of all time.
Like you're gonna rewrite the ending of your career because like you didn't go to the tournament, you're gonna rewrite that ending for your grandkids, like, and you're not gonna let them tell you.
And how does the story go? It's gonna every year it's gonna get just drastically more. It's just gonna be like, like we would have won. We would have made it to the Final Four. And it was like, no, we definitely would have won the national championship that year. That was definitely. I've done super advanced analytics that say, and I've ran the simulation 100 times, and it says.
I love it.
Won that year, regardless.
I can't wait. I hope I'm alive for those conversations. It's gonna be fantastic.
Oh, I love it.
The second crazy thing I had. Do you have a crazy thing first? I forgot.
No, DePaul was my crazy thing.
Yeah. So my second crazy thing might be prisoner of the moment, I guess, because Villanova got run today. We talked about this like last week. Like we I think we both thought they're like a little bit more human than normal, right? Like they're not gonna like 19-1 this league. You know what I mean? So some of this might be out of convenience because they did get just embarrassed today, I think this is like their worst team since realignment. I just do. I don't know. And I know we're like Creighton guys, so like we might pay for this in a week. Next Friday, I might eat these words like real slow.
Highly possible.
Yeah, for sure, definitely possible. I'm introducing that into my risk analysis.
Got you.
But I just don't love this team. Like I think maybe it's some of it is like comparing them to their own standards, but I came in like expecting a surefire top 5, not getting out of that echelon team this year, because everybody saw Jermaine Samuels come back and Colin Gillespie come back, and just kind of assumed that this was going to be, a single digit, like 5 or less lost team this year, and I just see more flaws. Like, I don't love them. They've got 2 guys in Gillespie and Moore who can create their own shot, right? Essentially, like Jermaine Samuels can score, but I don't know if he can create his own offense as well as they would probably need to for them to be as dangerous as people think they are. And then, Miles Kale, just blew a windmill dunk. I don't know. So, and then I look at their bench depth, and that's like non-existent. I look at their rim protection, that's non-existent. And I'm just like, I think they're just beatable on not most nights, but I just don't expect them to dog walk everybody in the league. And I think that's kind of what coming in the national media would tell you, that it was like Villanova, like a gap, UConn, and then everybody else is like good luck. You know what I mean? And I just don't feel that way. I feel like everybody else, I feel like there's like a pack, and there's a lot of teams in it right now. And I just I'm not loving Villanova.
I agree, because I was giving Colin Gillespie a lot of praise for, he had 31 in the game. I forget who they played, but he had 31 coming back.
St. Joseph's, that's what you're
St. Joseph's. And so, coming back from that injury is tough. But I think the more I watch them now, so I'll agree with you to an extent, and then I will say, but this is the thing about Nova, is they actually are one team I trust of all teams to figure something out, like going forward. Like they could be just going through a lull right now, like I often talk about with Creighton teams that has happened when I was there, but they don't have the type of, what it was to be the most is they don't have the type of, I don't even want to say rim protector or anything, but just paint presence that they used to.
Jeremiah Robinson Earl, right?
Robinson Earl,
yeah,
or even who was it before that they had? I forget, but they've always had
like Omari Spellman,
or
Daniel
whoever
Ochefu.
it may be. Yeah. I mean, going back, but I just think they don't have that this year. I don't think they have the consistency from their guards, which they're used to having, like guards being able to like get in there, hit the pull-ups, hit the kickouts for the threes. Like, they're not doing it at the same level that I think we're used to seeing Villanova do it. So I don't know if it's just a thing that they have to work through, and they very much could. I've seen Villanova teams do that, but they don't look like that right now. They don't look like I have way more confidence in UConn, even though they dropped that game on Tuesday, West Virginia, but without their 2 players that I have seen from anything from Villanova. UConn's loss gave me more confidence that they're a better team than any of Villanova's wins this year.
Yeah, I mean, like, Tennessee's supposed to be dangerous, and they kicked their ass pretty good. But I mean, I don't know, dude. I think here's the thing. I think if you're telling me as like pretend you're like a national college basketball analyst, right? You don't have a beat, so you kind of just try to, have your pulse on everybody around the country and think about where they belong in terms of ranking them and whatnot. And if you told me that the consensus among that group is that I should be shocked if Creighton wins on Friday, I don't think I'm gonna fall in line with that.
Yeah.
I think if Creighton wins on Friday, I'll be like, yeah, I mean, I kind of see why it would happen.
Yeah.
I don't know if Creighton's disciplined enough right now to do that. I don't know if I don't think they are, but they can, be really good one night and pull it off. But I wouldn't be shocked either, because there's matchups on the floor that I like for Creighton in that game more than anything Villanova can do otherwise. You know what I mean? It's not like I think inside, Kalkbrenner versus like Eric Dixon. I think it's Creighton all day, right?
Yeah. No.
I think Justin Moore and Jermaine Samuels at the 2 and the 3 for Villanova is advantage Nova. But like as good as Gillespie is, I don't think Nemhard doesn't belong on the floor with him. I think that's a matchup.
I agree.
Like that's a good matchup. And then I
think
think
that's very good.
And then I look at
yeah.
Ryan Hawkins versus Brandon Slater, and I'm just like I'll take Hawkins all day.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So and then you talk about their bench. Nova has no bench whatsoever, right? And Caleb Daniels is the only other wild card that you wonder like that could, put up a 20 piece and beat you, And I'm like, well, if Sharif plays, advantage Creighton. If if Keyshawn Fizel can handle Eric Dixon's physicality, because that's a matchup that kind of isn't something that Keyshawn can't handle.
Alex O'Connell gets going a little bit.
Yeah, like there's just people that Creighton can go to if it wants to extend the game a little bit. That I just wouldn't be. If you tell me I'm supposed to be that's supposed to be a shocking, monumental upset that no one saw coming, I don't think I'm going to feel that way. I think I could see it coming.
I don't think so.
I think I could see.
I can too, because to be just completely straight up about it, it's Creighton. Am I crazy to say Creighton has more weapons offensively than?
Offensively, no.
Yeah, exactly.
No.
So I think straight up, Villanova just doesn't have the weapons they're used to having. They don't have. They can't score in the variety of ways that they
scored 36 freaking points today, dude.
Yeah, I know.
I know I'm supposed to be thinking that's a statement win for Baylor, but that's pretty alarming for Villanova.
It is.
You know what I mean? 36 points. That's horrible.
And it was, and because I was watching for some of it, I was like, it's not like they're getting bad shots either. They weren't hitting, and they weren't they had no rhythm, they had no groove. It's not like the normal Villanova you see where it's guys getting in the lane, 1-2, kick out, oh, got a 3. Next time down, get in the paint, jump stop, everyone collapses, everyone goes out to shooters, some guy hits it in the lane, drop off to a big, it's not the same.
Yeah, I'm serious. I'm with you. I think Creighton's got to be really disciplined. They got to take care of the ball. They got to be really disciplined defensively. We know the keys to beating Villanova, and with this Creighton team, I'm not sure if they're there yet, but I also wouldn't be surprised if they're there on Friday, because I think you could see, I think we'll see games from Creighton where they are checking all those boxes and where they're not. So that's kind of what the deal with the young team. I guess we should probably talk about Creighton since we're talking about them a whole lot in terms of how they match up on Friday, right? Did you watch the BYU?
Yeah.
Were you too? Were you watching the whole thing?
Oh yeah.
I
watched. I only tuned in. I think the first minutes, but I watched the rest of it.
Yeah. What'd you think?
I didn't. I thought it was the beginning of the game. I was just saying to myself, because BYU is still ranked 24th. I was like, oh, this will be a really good one. I was like, this will be a good test right now going into this, and especially location. I did not think they would get up as handily as they did in the first half. I didn't. And then they started grooving. And then my man Ryan just wanted to put Mormons in rims. And I was like, whoa. This is I thought it was not, I don't want to say a statement win, but it was a feel good win. It was definitely a feel good
win. That's a pretty good way to say it, right? Yeah.
Because I think they just got with Ryan playing as well as he did. I think too, he's starting to you can see guys feeding off of it, man, because he's starting to really establish himself. And you called this obviously going into the year of him, being that type of just the most experienced guy on the team. Mm-hmm. And I think now guys are starting to realize that from the way he carries himself, not only the way he carries himself just in the locker room and off the court, but now they're like, oh no, he is a polished college basketball player.
Yeah, we can play through him in stretch.
We can play through him. Mm-hmm. And I think now guys are leaning towards that. And that's where I was saying earlier before the season, I wonder how quickly this team will find their identity and find who they are. And they started, that game was huge in that, because now they can see hey, this is a way we can play that is consistent. This is we can play through him and it can get everybody else going. It can get us going defensively. And so I was impressed. I think it was a very good feel-good win.
Yeah, that's a feel-good win's a good way to put it, because it's not BYU's got some injuries, so you're not sure. If you say statement win, does it have the longevity that it would if you make a statement win, So a feel-good win is a really good way to put it, because Creighton played really well in all facets, and they can take that into the next one. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that game, the whole game, I didn't get nervous. At no point was I oh yeah, maybe BYU could come back. Once I think they got up to I want to say like a 12-point lead at one point in the first half. I was like, oh no, they know how to win this game.
Yeah.
I
think I'm gonna have to play with you on that one a little bit because I don't get nervous ever. Because I just don't.
Okay.
I just don't go there emotionally. I just kind of watch and observe and analyze. But like for you, with like being a former player, like your mood will probably help me understand like what went down and everything. So that's interesting that you didn't get nervous that BYU is going to come back, because like my thing was I thought BYU was going to come back because they're just too experienced to get rolled like that, And so the thing I was watching for was like, how much time is going to be left on the clock when BYU gets this thing to 10 or 9, And it's like, and the crowd senses that there's been a shift. Like, because if you're down 20, I think the shift comes like in the middle of that, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Like, if they cut that in half.
No, because that's just the crowd. Why would you waste your energy if it's not even going to get close, right? Like,
yeah.
Fan. And so, that's the, truth for all games, right? Like,
that's what I mean. Yeah. Yeah. So like the BYU got that to 10 with like 9 minutes left, I think 9:05 or something around there. And I was like, okay, this is interesting because now Creighton has to close this deal. They can't ride the lead for 9 minutes because this can be a tie game in 4 minutes. You know what I mean? So I was like, all right, this is what I was curious about because I knew BYU was going to make a push. Now I'm wondering, like, all right, can a young team that's only got like 8 or 9 games together figure out how to close out a team that they feel like they already buried and is now punching back at them, you know what I mean, and feeling good about themselves, right? And that's what was impressive. Like, it wasn't just that they did it, because I think that can be kind of fickle. Like, if BYU just goes cold and Creighton gets hot real quick and that's the ball game. I loved the way they executed, and like there were so many smart plays that helped them push the lead back out to a comfortable margin where they could ride it out the rest of the way. Like, first of all, they hit their free throws. They were huge. They were like 14 for 14 in the final 6.5 minutes, whatever it was. That's how you close the show for sure. You got to be good at the free throw line. 1, you got to take care of the ball, which they did. And then 2, like there were 2 huge plays. I think both of them were threes for Alex O'Connell, but the first one was Ryan Nembhard getting downhill, keeping his dribble alive, unlike what he did against Iowa State. So that's what transferable mistake to improvement from game to game right there, right? So he kept his dribble alive. He got baseline. He pretty much like took the whole defense with him, and then just made a real quick kick out to O'Connell for a corner 3 in front of Creighton's bench. That was big. Trey Alexander just executed one of the most perfect like Nova drill situations that I see you guys like do all the time. He catches the ball first of all, it's late in the clock. Like, Creighton's been running some offense and trying to create something, and he catches the ball right wing, right pass fake left to just it just shifts the defender a little bit, like just a little bit, for Trey to get to his dominant hand. Drives right, jump stop at the paint. Defender collapses, shot fake gets him in the air. Window. Oh man, I was hitting my microphone getting. I'm so excited about this. Window opens up with a shot fake, kick back to O'Connell on the opposite wing, bang. Like, that was perfect. And for 2 freshmen,
and this is
credit to O'Connell for hitting those shots, first of all, but for 2 freshmen to make those plays in Trey Alexander and Ryan Nembhard, like, huge. Those are game-winning plays.
So I'm gonna go back to our theory on collecting data for this one.
Oh, you're gonna okay, bring it back.
I got to go back to this because I've been starting to think about it a lot recently, and like I was saying with the game yesterday, what made me not nervous, and I know it sounds crazy because it wasn't even the same caliber of game, but the Nebraska game, like I thought back to the Nebraska game from this year and how they closed that one out, and I was like, because they were saying at the time, probably like that 4-minute timeout, or I think it might have been the 8-minute. I'm not sure, but I know in that huddle, the conversation was like what you're saying, just execute. Like, we know how to win this game. Like, they don't have, what are they going to do? As long as we execute, they don't have anything. They haven't showed us anything that's going to really hurt us. Like, as long as we execute, as long as we handle what we need to do.
Yeah.
And they've done, I've seen them do it before. So I was I was not nervous. I was like, I know the vibe and the conversation in that huddle was, oh no, we're good. Like, we just have to execute. That was it. And they did. So
yeah.
And shout out to the freshmen being able to execute December of their freshman year against the top 25 team in the country in a neutral location. Like, shout out to them, man.
Yeah, it was big time.
Big time.
That's how you win. That's how you win games. That's how you win.
Still good game. And this is the type of game they're gonna remember. They're gonna remember going forward back to collecting data. It's like, oh yeah, we knew how to handle that. We knew how to close the game out. So I do like this team's ability to close. I am more confident on that.
Yeah. To like, they don't just front run. You know what I mean? They grind. So I like that about them. Where should we go next? We talked about DePaul, Villanova, Creighton.
Talk about UConn a little bit. They're injured. They had the 2 injuries. So, I mean, and they won yesterday. So. Yeah,
that's a good win. St. Bonaventure is going to be really good. So
yeah. They're always, that's a sneaky tournament team every year.
Yeah.
St. Bonaventure will probably win that conference this year. They're pretty good, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
They're like, they're supposed to be a trendy second weekend team. I think a lot of people had them in their preseason top 25, top 20, because they brought a lot of people back from a really good team. So that's a good win for UConn being shorthanded. And I think they're going to get right here probably sooner than they thought originally. So yeah, UConn's not going anywhere. I think Seton Hall right now, let me check. Hold up.
They're up. I just saw they were up.
They're up 7, so they went on a quick run. Okay.
Going in, I think it's a little bit of time left, or they're going in a half.
Yeah.
Seton Hall's good.
But Seton Hall's got the season. So what do you think about Seton Hall, Texas then this week?
I thought Seton Hall, Texas, man. That was Bryce Aiken. I did not. He has been.
Hey, good call by the way. You said he didn't have a good game, but he closed that thing, didn't he?
He closed that thing.
He did.
He did close the game, and they needed that. Like, they needed a guy. Like, their teams, I think, have always been the best when they have the Miles Powells or the Isaiah Whiteheads, the guys who taking those big shots late in games.
Dean Carrington,
Carrington, exactly. Like, so he's fitting into that mold, and I'm glad it's working out. I'm glad he's healthy this year, because I knew last year he was really injured, and I know coming from
injured his whole career though. That's the thing.
Yeah. But hey, man, coming from the Ivy League to the Big East. I ain't trying to knock the Ivy League, but Big East ain't no joke. So I'm glad he got a year to get healthy, and now showing out for them.
Mm-hmm. No, that was good. That it wasn't aging well throughout the game. I didn't want to bring it up, but he hit that big shot. I was like, okay, Jordan, you got it.
Yeah, I think he came in like in his first shot, he might have like barely hit the rim or something.
Yeah, it was like rough.
Backward, hit it 3. I was like, ooh.
Like, oops.
Oh no. But then, hey, he stuck with it.
For sure.
And shoot.
Yeah, that's I mean, I don't love Texas yet either, because they haven't beaten anybody that I'm supposed to be. They haven't done anything to impress me yet. They got whipped by Gonzaga. They lost to Texas. They've beaten everybody else that's not very good. So
the way
I'm still waiting on Texas a little bit, but
Texas same, because the way that Texas scores is just. I don't know if they know what like good shots are really.
No, they
because
don't.
they all want to just get it's ISO ball, man. Like all the dudes on Texas do is want to get to their spots and get their shots off. Like that's their offense. No, like I don't know. I mean, am I tripping? Because I was watching it. They took some bad shots, man.
And then
long twos early in the shot clock.
Yeah. They love mid-range twos, like contested fall away twos. Like, that's not good basketball. I mean, and I feel bad for Christian too, because like he's stuck at the 5,
man,
and he's backing up Trey Mitchell, who I don't why can't Trey Mitchell play the 4? Because Texas doesn't have a good offense anyway. Like, why don't you slide him to the 4 where he can play some pick and pop and let Christian? If you're gonna make Christian a 5, let him set ball screens. Because that's the one thing that Texas couldn't do very well, is like they couldn't generate any kind of advantage situations for their guards. It was all they all had to work. They had to work so hard with the dribble to create space to do anything.
And then by the second half,
goddamn ball screen, get some leverage and let a guy get downhill that way. But like, Christian plays like 3 goddamn minutes. It's like, dude, Texas, what are you doing? Like that's your offense. Like that's how you want to operate. You think you're getting like portable offense that way, you know, where you're like, okay, yeah, these are the shots we want to live with all season. This is the identity of who we are. It's like that's
And
you're not gonna win anything of significance playing that way. You're not like.
I don't see how
but Seton Hall did what they did. They grinded, they won, and it's a quality win. You know what I mean? Because everybody's going to be on Texas's. Texas is back this year. You know, they think they're a good squad. So okay, game on. Then that's a quality win for the Big East. Then they're racking them up. Like Big East keeps racking them up. That's no one for Seton Hall.
I just don't know how you have a team with Christian Bishop and he doesn't get 10 points a game strictly in transition. I don't know. That's just me though. That's just me. But hey, moving on. What do you think? I need you to help me out with this one because what do you think of Providence? Because I got everybody from out here trying to tell me Providence is a deal. And Nate Watson is the best, and if they can win games when Nate Watson doesn't even play well, that they're in the Big East and they're the dark horse. So come on, give me something that I can say to people to be like.
Well, they're the team that this week just kind of didn't do anything of significance. They beat a bad Central Connecticut State team barely.
Yeah, that's where my pops went.
Sorry, no disrespect, sir.
Oh, don't worry. I called him and talked junk to him all after that game. I was like, really? That's where you went?
It wasn't like a super impressive win they didn't play crazy well, but they did what they needed to do. They got the win. It was a double-digit win, comfortable. But yeah, they're the team I think this week that they didn't really show me anything different than that would change the way we felt about them a week ago. So yeah, whatever we said last week, copy and paste.
All right.
Yeah,
I like that. And then I guess
what was it? But hold up though. One of the teams I said I'm out on, like disappointed in a bad way. Remember, disappointed in a bad way.
Yeah.
Butler went to Oklahoma and got a win.
Man, they did.
When I buried them, they went and got a big time dub that I didn't think they were capable of getting. They're back in my good graces now.
I think they heard you. They were like, you know what? Scott Matt he was believing in us before the season, and then we gave him reason to believe.
Down, yeah,
we let him down, and then you know what? We got to go handle business. So yeah, that was a good win for them.
Seriously, huge win. Not to mention because they kind of blew the lead in regulation. I didn't see. Can we talk about this a little bit though? Because I want to know your philosophy. Because I wasn't really. Let's just say they had a 3-point lead and Oklahoma hit a 3 to tie it, to take it to overtime. I can see your eyes right now. You're like, yeah, okay. So everybody immediately was like, oh my God, Butler foul. And I'm just like, I'm not a super automatic foul up 3 guy. But in that situation, Butler should have fouled because here are my rules. I'm not a foul up 3 automatically guy because if the ball's in transition, I hate it because you're going to foul a 3-point shooter trying to do some dumb shit. You know what I mean? And you're going to give him, if he hits it, it's 4-point play. And if he doesn't, you're giving up a 3-shot foul anyway. And I know the pushback is like, yeah, but he has to hit 3 shots instead of 1. So the percentages are still in your favor. And whatever, fine. I hate fouling up 3 when it's like short time because I think you should stop the ball first and see if you can guard the situation. You know what I mean? So the reason I think Butler should have fouled is because they did stop the ball. And Oklahoma did pass it a couple times before some 20% 3-point shooter threw in a junk fadeaway that went in. You know what I mean? So it could have burned them. And in that situation, I thought they should have fouled because they did wall off the ball and they did have Villanova or Oklahoma slowed down and they could have picked anybody on the floor to foul. You know what I mean? To protect the lead. But I'm also not an automatic foul up 3 guy for that reason. Where are you on that?
Depends on time. Like you're saying, because if it's it really just it would have to be time, situation.
Okay, so you're with me then.
How many shooters? So yeah, I'm not automatic. I'm definitely not automatic. I'm with you on that.
So would you if a 20% dude chucked one in, how would you feel like, oh damn, we should have fouled him, or would you still be like, hey, look, we guarded that pretty well. You just hit a freaking shot.
Yeah, it was contested, or was he?
Yeah, no, it was junk. It was like. He would never shoot that. He would never shoot that at any other point in the game other than that moment right there.
Yeah, no, I probably would have made the same coaching decision.
Yeah, for sure. But they got it done in OT, so no worries. Butler got the dub.
Yeah,
they didn't have to pay for it. It's all good. The basketball gods rewarded them by playing out of possession. Like they just made them sweat a little bit. 5 more minutes. That's all.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
big time dub for
That's
Butler.
the right thing to do.
Big time dub.
Big time dub for Butler. Shout out to Bulldogs.
So yeah, they're back in my good. You're not a disappointment anymore, Butler. Thank you. Back in my good graces.
Well, then tell me how you feel about Marquette. Are they a disappointment to you?
I don't know if I can say disappointment, but they did not look. I felt bad.
That was a smooth. You like that transition? That was good.
I feel bad too because I like interact with and follow a lot of Marquette people, and that was like a big week for them. Like UCLA's coming in. It's a chance for another another statement Shaka moment, and they looked terrible. I mean, they were shooting just junk shots and not hitting anything. I think there was one point where they were like hovering around 10% shooting, like after a sizable stretch of the game. It's like, ugh.
I didn't even know the numbers. I just knew that they wanted to be done with that game more than I wanted to turn it off.
Seriously.
So I was like, oh, these poor guys.
Yeah, I switched to volleyball probably like 6 minutes in. So that's
I think they're the most like all over the place team. That's what we'll call them.
Yeah,
all over the place.
They are all over the place.
They're the most all over the place Big East team. That's their new identity. That's their MO.
Yeah, you know what?
Here's the thing. We're all over the place.
Here's the thing they showed me on Saturday. If you told me right now I have to ride with Marquette being the team that's going to finish last in this league, I wouldn't hate it. Like I would think there's a good chance it happens. Because I saw stretches of basketball there that I could see this team like just getting boat raced. Like,
can I throw a hot take at? Can I throw a hot take at you?
What do we say? What do we say our number for getting boat races? 5 or less, if you're good or bad, right?
Yes.
Like I can see this team going 5 or north of 5 boat race times getting.
So you have DePaul winning more games in the Big East this year than Marquette. You can lock that one in.
Wow, why would you go straight for that?
That's a lock. You're gonna lock that in?
No, I said if you made me lock it in, I would maybe.
No, I'm saying I'm making you right now.
You're gonna be locked that in right now.
I want to know who. Yep, I want to know who you think finishes better in the Big East, DePaul or Marquette. I want to know.
Fuck.
Gotta make you sweat. See, this is
what did I try? Just
got here.
Do to myself here. Okay, I'll do it. I'll say yes, because I like what DePaul does sometimes, and I honestly. David Jones dropped.
You're trying to save yourself sometimes.
I'm gonna make sure his name is David Jones. I don't want to disrespect this man. Where's this? Did no one talk about that?
I love how you tried to save yourself, but I'm clipping that up. If Marquette finishes with more wins than DePaul, I'm clipping that one and tweeting it for the whole day.
I gotta make sure. I think this dude's name is David Jones, but I gotta make sure I got it right. It's some generic, like there's no way that's his real name, and it is.
So Scurry in the Scrub Locks.
Yeah, it's David Jones. This dude dropped 33 and 14 on Louisville. Okay,
that's
he was 15
to
22 from the field. He had 14 boards. If they got a dude like that, Marquette doesn't have a dude like that. So if you make me
David
say
Jones, all right.
Nick Ongenda had like, what did this dude have? He had like 8 points, 9 boards. Like 10 blocks. What does this dude have? Hold up. Yeah, Nick Ongenda.
How many blocks?
You remember Nick Ongenda, right? Super long, raw as shit. Of course,
right? Yeah. How many blocks?
Yeah, this dude had 8 points, 9 boards, and 8 blocks against Louisville. 8.
8 blocks. I missed that.
Yeah,
we
bro.
need to be talking about that right now.
Dude, look it up. He had the most violent block I've seen all year because DePaul still gave up a 3 on it, which made me laugh because it's like that's classic DePaul. But he punched this dude off the glass. Okay, he banged him off the glass, and the dude.
I think I did see this. I think
the dude fell like into the stanchion, like his whole existence got wiped out. And I was like, oh my god, that's the most violent rejection
That's an embarrassing moment.
Yeah,
That's an embarrassing moment. Never want to fall into his stance.
Yeah. And then DePaul gave up a 3 off the ricochet because he punched it off the glass so hard that it went to like an open Louisville shooter. But
open, of course, that's the basketball guys. He probably went. Did he stand over him? Did he stand over him?
No, it was super chaotic. Like he banged it off the glass, and it went so hard. Like it was. He didn't have time to.
I was about to say that was probably the basketball gods because if he like blocked him, pinned him on the glass, and then stood over him, and like was like next, and then it went to an open 3-point shooter, I would have been like, oh yeah, that's karma. That's basketball god.
Right, for sure. No, it was just DePaul gods because that's what happens to DePaul. Like you get a sick ass highlight and you still eat a 3 in it. So
what if the pandemic fixed DePaul basketball? Is that wild to say?
Well, they played last year, so it didn't. We know that.
This is.
Oh, you're not counting whatever happened. Okay, I don't know.
Yeah,
maybe.
I was just counting that. I meant the pandemic season. Like
I think the coaching. I think that we talked about what fixed them. The coaching change. We talked about that earlier. Remember?
Yeah, I mean that's probably it. But if we're trying to stretch for coincidences, like I was,
you're just like
I'm right.
You're like in a realistic world. That's what it actually is. But if we're talking like supernatural style, like no, there's some magic going on here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
You know what? So
I'll take DePaul over Marquette for win total, I guess. Yeah. What'd you say for wins on DePaul? You said 13. If it's 13, it's definitely
I just need 8. I just need 8 from DePaul. Come on, man.
Yeah, okay. I could see Marquette struggling to get to 8 wins in the Big East. If there's one team that I think is like not capable of that on the offensive end of the floor, and it might bite them on most nights, Marquette, probably.
Yep.
I could see them having the worst offense in the league. I could see that.
Because you watch them and they when they have to dribble around. Oh, I love Ryan Hawkins highlights on my TV. Dunked on him. Oh my god. The ball bounced off his face.
Yeah.
The ball bounced off my man's face. Like, oh my god.
You don't know how bad I feel for this dude. Because normally when dudes get dunked on, I'm just like, I don't really care. But I felt for this dude because Ryan Hawkins punched on him, then told him about it. And then Ryan Nembhard, if you watch the highlight, keep watching.
He pointed at him.
Ryan Nembhard tells him, you just got murdered.
He pointed at him, yo. Yeah. He pointed at him. That was my favorite part.
Like, that was in case everybody in the crowd wasn't sure who just got yammed on, Ryan Nembhard put a sign on him. He's like, this dude.
In case you guys needed a reminder, and they probably let him know about it all rest of the game. Like,
totally, absolutely.
I would have been like at the end of the game, been like, "Yo, you recovered yet? You all right?"
In the handshake line, yeah, like, you good, bro?
I would be like, I'd be like, bro, my therapist is really good. You need help? And imagine that's the worst part. Imagine because they're Mormons, so imagine getting dunked on that bad. You can't even go out after. I can't. I don't know. Can't even have a beer.
The last time a Creighton dude punched on someone like that, where I genuinely felt bad for the player who got postered, is when Kyrie dunked on
Aaron Thompson.
Yeah, that was.
I told Kyrie I didn't talk to him for 3 hours after that.
Why?
Because I told him after I kid you not, after that game, we went to the locker room and I looked at him dead in his face and I said, what you did to that man tonight was awful. And I feel like I can't even talk to you for the next 3 hours because that was violent. And be around someone who's that violent for the next 3 hours.
I have to think about what this means for my
later.
life. Yeah.
I'll hit you up later, bro. And he was like, what? Okay.
Have I told you the story about the scout who was there for that game?
Oh no,
I haven't. Okay, so
I need this one.
So it was a scout for the Utah Jazz. Okay, and he was who was that? I think I was sitting with Alex Sindelar. Yeah, we were both kind of talking to the guy a little bit and asking him who he's there to see and everything, And I mean, I can't really fault him now because these dudes Keelan Martin's in the league right now. So he said Keelan Martin, I think he said someone else for Butler that maybe Kamar Baldwin or something like that.
Yeah.
I can't maybe Kellen Dunham or something. But he didn't say Marcus Foster, he didn't say Kyrie Thomas or anything like that. And so we thought it was kind of like funny. Alex and I were joking about it. Like he didn't say any of the Creighton guys. He just said the Butler guys he was there to watch. I was like, that's weird. But after like right after Kyrie punched on Aaron Thompson, all he did was like he spent the next like 20 minutes just like reading Kyrie's like bio and information.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Like it was so funny to like we were cracking up about it. He was just all he had the notebook. He had like the packet of information of the players and stuff like there with him, but he wasn't really going through it. He was just like, yeah, I'm here to see Keelan Martin and some other guy for Butler that I can't remember, like whatever. And then when Kyrie came down the lane and dunked on Aaron Thompson, he spent like the next 20 minutes like on Kyrie's page, like taking notes and texting people and stuff like that. I'm like, I think Kyrie just made himself a lot of money by dunking on Aaron Thompson. The word got out in that moment. So like if there's ever like a moment when people want to know when Kyrie got himself paid, it was that moment right there.
Yeah. No, that scout might not have known him before that game.
Yeah.
He knew good and well who Kyrie Thomas was.
Good and well. I mean, Kyrie did shut Keelan Martin's water off. I felt like he should have paid attention to that.
Oh, yeah.
Martin had like 6 turnovers and scored like 2 points or something like that. So I thought Kyrie should have I think the scout should have been paying attention to that part of it, but he kind of wasn't. But when he dunked on Aaron Thompson, that scout was like, he didn't come off Kyrie's page. Like he was writing all over that thing, texting people, writing down notes. It's like, oh yeah, Kyrie's gone. This is Kyrie's last year, everybody. He's making money now.
I love it. I love it. Kyrie, I'll always remember that the Kyrie the one more year chance because he was like, man, like I would love to stay, but I gotta go get this money, dog.
Serious, like it's talking about millions here. I'll come back and say hi to people later.
He's like, bro, I'm from here. You guys know I want to stay here. Like, I don't want to go anywhere else, but I ain't making that much money here. Like,
he's like, I got family. I'll come back and say hi to people and stuff. I won't leave for good, but I'm probably done playing here. Yeah.
Shout out Kyrie, man.
So that's who were we talking about when we said that? What team are we on right now? We're not doing a very good job.
We were on Butler, I think. I think we got all.
Yeah, we got off Butler.
We got all over the place with Butler. All right, but I guess you can refocus back in just with Xavier. Xavier I will say Xavier has impressed me. I've been impressed with Xavier.
Yeah.
Better than I thought.
Okay, let me ask you this because I'm not unimpressed with Xavier, but I need to know what you think their ceiling is with Paul Scruggs at the 1. Because they keep doing that. Because they're kind of like committed to that. And I don't love it.
I don't love it for full games, but at the end of the game, he's done really well with getting in the lane, getting buckets.
Yeah, that's true. But can you like it's not like Scruggs is like a surprise to people. Like the league knows him.
Yeah,
but can Xavier win enough games in the Big East to get themselves like a good seed that allows them to possibly make a run in March that they kind of need to make, at this point in the Travis Steele era that they haven't done yet? Like, can they do that with Scruggs as their like PG1?
I don't know, but I think they're gonna find out. I think they are.
I know they're gonna
find out. Because I think they don't. I don't think they see any other option. I guess because what is my man 24
Nunji's a center. Yeah, he's fine.
No, him, the other dude.
Oh, Kiki Tandy.
Yeah, Kiki Tandy.
Yeah.
Sorry. So what's the other option? He runs the point.
That's what I mean. I don't know what their other options are. I think maybe they thought Dewan Odom maybe, but he's not. He comes off the bench. Like he's not.
Yeah.
He's not their primary facilitator. Scruggs is. So
yeah, no, I wouldn't be too confident in it. I think he's much better off ball throughout the course of a game, like to play how he wants to play. But
yeah,
I think it has to be that for them because he does do a great job getting in the lane, and I think he has a size advantage over the point guards that they played and being able to do that. So I guess they're just their
quality win is Ohio State right now, and it's a big one because they did it without Fremantle, right? So like credit
Yeah.
That's a huge win because Ohio State beat Duke. They look really good. They just beat Wisconsin like easily. So that's a good win. My question is, I don't think that can be your only win if you want to, get in the NCAA tournament and then make a run in the tournament, right? But even say it's enough. Like, who do they have to beat in the Big East to enhance that or like secure that thing? And I think last year I thought they were last week I thought they were set up pretty good at this point to be an NCAA tournament team as long as they didn't screw it up. But like, as I kind of get away from that a little bit, I'm trying to think like who can they beat that's going to be a resume booster in the league with Paul Scruggs as your point guard. Like, can they beat UConn that way? I don't think so. Can they beat Villanova?
I think maybe.
Can they beat Nova that way? I don't know. Can they beat Seton Hall like that?
I'll push back on that. I think they could. I think Xavier, yeah, because I think it's Kobe Jones, right? The kid, like,
yeah. He's.
I think he's the real deal. I think he's the real deal. I think in a game like that, if you want Paul Scruggs to even play the one like against the Nova and say he's not really even getting that 20 that usually you need him to get if you're going to beat a Nova,
someone else can do it. Yeah,
Kobe Jones goes and gets you 30 in that game, they can win that game. Like, and they can play at the pace that Nova wanted to play with Paul Scruggs at the one. Because I guess like Paul Scruggs and Colin Gillespie, I think defensively, like, that's advantage Paul Scruggs right now, at least. You don't think Paul Scruggs can lock up Gillespie? I think he can hold him. I think he can hold him.
Yeah, I
can win that game.
Maybe. I don't know if I would like if you're asking me like who I think has the point guard matchup, I don't think I would say Xavier if that's the matchup. But also like Fremantle, once he gets right, that Fremantle Nunji like front court duo might be the best one besides UConn with Whaley and Sanogo, right? Like that.
Yeah, probably.
Like Nunji's put up monster numbers. What do you have there?
Yeah.
He had like a 20-15 double, I think, somewhere in that range. I think it was 28 and 15. So he's been a nice addition. I just wish they would have added, like, they added him in the transfer market. I wish they would have added a point guard. I would have felt really good about him.
Yeah, he had 31. Yeah, 31 shooting.
31 and 15. Is that what he had?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's nasty.
Yeah.
He's been real good, and he can stretch the floor too. Like, so he's a 5 that can pull other 5s away from the basket and hit 3s, So he's nice. And Fremantle, we know, is really good. So as long as when Fremantle gets healthy, that's going to be a nasty little 1-2 combo in the post there for them. I just wish they would have added like a better lead guard. That way Scruggs can play his more natural position.
I think that's what they need to going back to your original point to them. I believe that they will be better than I had thought in the preseason. In the Big East. They will fare better than I thought in the Big East, but I don't know. This is the year, like it's supposed to be for them, that they make a tournament run. I don't think they can be in that position when they're not playing a team that they have an advantage over in that first round. So
yeah, I mean, that's
where I'm at with them.
Yeah, we're far away from having to figure out whether they can make a run or not because there's still just too much to go. But I just know if you take the pulse of like where Xavier's at program-wise under Travis Steele, like replacing Chris Mack, like they need to make the tournament this year. Like they can't not make the tournament. Otherwise, I don't know where they're at. Who'd St. John's play? Monmouth? St. John's just dude, I just don't think I don't know if I'm gonna have an opinion on them until they play Big East teams. I just don't know if I'm gonna.
That's the thing. Every year, what is their schedule? And they like I don't know watching their games isn't even fun because it's like it's not telling me anything.
Yeah, right.
Like it's like I would much rather watch their practice to figure out who they are than something. To be honest.
I mean, Monmouth isn't bad, but it's not like but beating them isn't going to tell me what you're going to do, in a 5-game stretch when you have to face like, Nova, Butler on the road, UConn, Providence, etc.
And that, yeah,
like,
and that can't be fun for them.
You're not telling me,
yeah.
It's like you said, you're not telling me who you are yet. I don't know.
No.
So
I think the disadvantage to that, man, is like, again, going back to the collecting data theory, like you need like that. You need these feel good wins. Like you need a Creighton win over.
Yeah, you need lived experiences. Yeah, you
need that. You need to play these teams now to gauge, like, I forget who it was. Yeah, like even thinking back to all the way to my freshman year, like the Wisconsin game. I know I referenced that one a lot, but it's like you need to play those teams so you can be like, oh, okay, that's what they got going over there in the Big Ten. And then you play your the Baylors like later, and you're like, okay, that's what they got going in the Big 12. Like, all right, I see where we fare. What is St. John's doing? Like, I don't see how this is helpful for them. Like,
I don't either.
And I think it's not like. I was real hyped watching and I don't know if you saw the tweet, just watching the Kansas game yesterday, because I was like, man, scoring in the first 4 minutes at Allen, like the field house, like has to be like for Kansas, has to be one of the craziest adrenaline rushes ever.
Oh,
like St. John's isn't even putting themselves in positions where their guys are playing in games like of meaning right now, which is not good, in my opinion.
I mean, they played just two games that have
just two
significance. They lost a close one at Indiana.
Yeah.
Which isn't like, I guess you can go on the road and compete, but you didn't win. You didn't execute down the stretch to win it. And then because they had a shot to tie or win at the end of the game.
But that's what I mean. Like, that's why.
And then Kansas whipped them. So like there's not that's their two most valuable experiences so far. Like, because I don't know if it's a 20-game slate now with UConn back, so it's 2 extra. I just don't know how you can go through the Big East without being battle tested. Although I think you're going to get exposed if you otherwise.
Exactly.
Like look at your Creighton squads. Like every your last couple of years, like you played Michigan on the road, played Nebraska on the road, like you played San Diego State and Texas Tech on a neutral floor. Who else were your neutral floor games? But I'm saying, like, you know what I mean?
Like we had the tournament we lost to Baylor in the championship.
Oh yeah, UCLA, Baylor.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? Like the teams that you were on that went to the NCAA tournament. You played teams that are going to prepare you for like when you're in the shit in the Big East and you have to figure out a way how to execute down the stretch. You can call back to moments in the non-con where you're like, all right, here's where we were playing a team that had like 6'6" wings, and we got to figure out how to get angles on them and score, or we got to figure out how to get the ball inside, or we got to figure out how to get shooters loose. Like St. John's playing NJIT and St. Peter's and Monmouth isn't preparing them for how they're going to get shots in the Big East.
And it's tough.
It's just making them feel good about themselves because they can front run.
And that has to be a letdown for the guys too, because I think the point I was trying to get at before was just that, like, you play at like a Kansas and then you go play like a Fordham or a Monmouth. Like, no disrespect, but it's just like that's tough to like really gauge who you are.
It's not on the same level,
especially after losing. Like, because I used to hate that just in our seasons when we would have like a tough loss to whoever or a tough loss to like a Baylor, and then our next game we're playing like some team that it's like we're gonna kill by. It's like it's not gonna tell. Like, that's tough because it's like we could like losing. You want to like your next game, you want to be able to like show you made the adjustments, or you just want an opportunity again to correct that. And it's not always very telling when you're going to play the Fordhams and Monmouths of the world. That did what you needed to get corrected against like losing to Kansas or Indiana get corrected. You can't really tell that against a Monmouth or a Fordham.
So is that some of the reason, like, if we can just like call it back to Creighton right here? Creighton lost the game to Iowa State where they made a bunch of mistakes and it cost them in a 6-point win. Did like having BYU next like help them really learn mistakes? Because they're like,
absolutely,
okay, we probably cost ourselves this one, but we got a good test next. Let's make sure we really focus in practice on what we did wrong and correct that. That way we can come out sharp and not blow another one.
And they probably had a great week of practice because that that is the times you want to practice. Like when you have like after a loss, Iowa State, like you have concrete evidence and stats and everything that you can go through to correct that. Like in the film, like you can actually look back to moments and say, this is what we need to correct. When you're beating Fordhams and Monmouths and you're making mistakes, like it's hard to be like, okay, I know we won by 20, but like guys don't take it as seriously. So like that's why I know Creighton had a great week of practices. They were like, all right, let's just fix this, show it against BYU, and then we're back to feeling good about ourselves. Like that's why good win. Like, and you need that. That's the ebbs and flows to a college basketball season. So important to have those wins. That's why St. John's schedule right.
It makes it. It all kind of ties into what you're saying there, because like if we're trying to figure out who St. John's is, we don't really know yet. And but we also like that analysis, we can transfer it to other teams that have had, multiple tough tests where they fell short in one and then got to correct it and test themselves, like to see if they're on the right track or not. Because if Creighton came out against BYU after the way they played against Iowa State and they had 15 turnovers and chased the game again and came up short, then they know that they didn't make enough strides to improve and that they still got more to go in terms of like getting themselves on a good path for when they face ASU on Tuesday and then Nova on Friday, right? So yeah, like having the BYU performance right after Iowa State with a week of practice mixed in probably lets them know what trajectory they're on in terms of getting ready for this week. So yeah,
absolutely.
I totally agree with that.
And I guess the last one, just like closing out another, I guess, what do you make of that win, Georgetown over Syracuse? Because it's Syracuse.
Yeah, that's a good one.
How do you feel about them? Because I think Georgetown's win,
it's
the way you feel about Georgetown's win is just really how good of it you feel about Syracuse.
Yeah, no, that's what I mean. It's kind of why I went south on Nova, because I just watched them kind of grind out a win against Syracuse, and then I watched Syracuse turn around and lose to Georgetown, and I'm like, okay, I'm pretty sure I thought Georgetown was a hot mess, but I watched them basically do exactly what Nova did. And I'm like, okay, well, why does Nova look like they're on the same level as Georgetown? That's a problem to me. Because I don't think Syracuse is good. I just don't. They got bombed on by Colgate. They who else have they lost to? I just don't think they're all that. I don't know.
I don't either.
I don't even think they're a tournament team right now. So maybe
Syracuse, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I don't. So
no.
And Georgetown hadn't looked good yet. So
yeah,
that's kind of why I went south on Nova, was because I think it's a good win for Georgetown just because it's a rivalry, one. Two, it just keeps the Big East momentum going. But honestly, I think it says more about the ACC.
The ACC is so bad. I'm going to just say it. I know we're a Big East-centric podcast, so we don't even need to get into it. But the ACC is bad.
Who do you here's what I know about the ACC is they got Virginia beat Providence. It's kind of the reason I'm not sure about Providence yet, because Virginia beat them pretty handily, and Virginia is not good this year. No. They're not great.
Yeah.
And so Duke looks like Duke, but I don't know who else I like in that conference. I just watched Clemson and Drake, and I'm like, there wasn't a lot of separation there.
Not at all.
I watched NC State go to 4 overtimes against freaking Nebraska, and I'm like,
oh my gosh, yeah.
So I don't love them. North Carolina. I watched North Carolina go to the wire with Brown, and then I watched Creighton boat race Brown. So I don't love North Carolina. I guess Wake Forest is decent, but the ACC is rough, man. They're rough. Pitt's not good.
No.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah. It's ACC is just Duke, everybody else.
Duke and exactly.
Somewhere.
Have fun, everybody. I don't even know. Florida State, I guess, maybe. Florida State is up there, right?
Okay, yeah. Florida State's always solid, though, too.
Because Florida State got rolled by Florida, and then who else? Purdue.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Florida and Purdue.
Purdue's good this year.
Yeah, Purdue's really good. Yeah. So, but Florida State's not anything special either. So they're you kind of always expect them to be good. So yeah, they'll probably be. But honestly, if you told me how many teams are going to make the tournament from the ACC, I might say 2 just to be safe.
Yeah, if I had to make that bet right now, I'd say two.
Yeah.
I don't. Yeah, wow. I don't think so. So, I guess we need to wait and see still because ACC needs to get their shit together. So that's not.
Let's talk about the women's side of things because I think the Big East women had a really good week, and if you want, you can just ask me questions so I don't trap you into some poor analysis here. You know what I think.
Don't worry. This is good.
You know what I think we should do? I think we should have like a week. I don't know how much time you got, so this is up to you to be honest with me right here. I'm gonna look you in the eye because we're on video. So you tell me if I give you like a weekly assignment, like one Big East women's game you got to watch. Like, I don't want you analyzing box scores on me. I want you
I like this.
I want you watching it
giving you
learning.
real analysis.
I think by the end of the year we can have you to be a well-trained women's basketball analyst.
I like this. Let's get on. So you just gotta give me games of the week.
We'll give you a game of the week to analyze. And I promise I won't be mean and start with Butler, but
the people can chime in too. We'll ask.
That's true. We'll
ask the people on Twitter.
Like, vote on
which game should I watch? Women's game of the week that Jordan needs to watch.
Yeah,
we're gonna start that. That's gonna be a new segment here on Scurry and the Scrub.
I love it. Yeah, so we'll get you trained.
Yes, I love it. You'll help me through this. This will be good, so I can give because it's true though. Like I want to give good analysis on it, so you can help me.
Yeah.
Help me walk me through that. We'll be good.
So Creighton played today. They beat Arizona State. So Arizona State came in with a net of 50. So that's a top 50 win right there for Creighton. So they've won 5 in a row. Now they're 6-2. Carly Batchelor was awesome. Honestly, Carly Batchelor and Emma Ronsick were both
23-11, right?
23-5.
23-5. Oh, I'm tripping.
No, she was 9 of 11 from the field. Yeah, she was
okay.
But her and Emma Ronsick, I think, combined for 40, and I think they missed like 4 shots all day. So remember we talk about those high red posts? Remember that? Yeah, they were on today. Molly Mogensen, backup point guard, hit a big clutch shot late to kind of put it on ice, but it was a game that kind of got away from Creighton in the third quarter. They committed 8 turnovers, got down by 7, and then really cleaned it up in the fourth. Only turned it over one time, scored 28 points in the fourth quarter. So another a good win for them. Like they're kind of putting together a pretty good resume here. They have South Dakota and Arkansas left on the non-con, which are going to be 2 more quality resume opportunities for them. And then it's all Big East play from there. They have Providence in between that before Christmas. And then after that, it's all league play. So that's where Creighton sits right now. They're in a pretty good spot. They came in today 36th in the net. So I imagine they're going to get a little bit of a boost with the win.
I don't know. So what was Arizona in the net?
Arizona State was 50 today.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So would you say like that's because I was watching it, obviously I thought both were feel good wins for the men's and women's. Would you agree?
Yeah. No, I think, because just from a matchup standpoint, Arizona State was really long, strong, physical team that got in Creighton's face, and they didn't really let Creighton get comfortable. Creighton likes to run that motion offense. That's kind of where they if they can, they generate the best shots out of that style. So they had to be a little bit more structured of a set place today because Arizona State took away that movement. And then Arizona State had some versatile players. Like they had a Rutgers transfer. Her name is Male Giles, I think is how you say her last name. Yep. She was able to guard like 2 through 5 pretty well. So she basically disrupted whoever was cooking at the moment for Creighton. And then she was able to score. And, Arizona State took control of that game. They were down 7 at halftime and they were up 7 for the third quarter. So that's a 14-point swing right there real quick in 10 minutes. And the game kind of got sideways on Creighton, but they got it reeled back in. Carly Batchelor took over in the fourth quarter. Tatum Rembow hit big shots. T2.
Shout out T2.
Big hit big shots, and they just
weekend for R2T2.
Yes, for sure. Yeah, the peak ones of the Creighton Blue Jays. Yep.
We'll get the shirts on the way. Don't worry, people.
It's right. Yeah, so I think it was a feel good weekend for the Jays for sure.
Feel good weekend for the Jays.
Villanova. Remember we talked about Villanova last week? Creighton kind of whooped them, but they were shorthanded. So Maddie Segrist is a name for you to remember for Villanova. She's like a stud. Okay?
Put it in the notes right now. I love it.
So Villanova got her back, and they beat James Madison like a drum. And then they beat top 25 Oregon State team today. So Seagrass had 28 points and 9 boards. So she just had 30. She had 34 and like 17 against James Madison. So she's back with a vengeance. That's a really good win for Villanova though, and it makes Creighton's win over Villanova better. You know what I'm saying? So that's
absolutely.
So, yeah. Seton Hall got a good win too. So Seton Hall is another team that everybody kind of thought was going to be an NCAA tournament team out of the Big East, but they started 500, lost to Fordham, lost to USC, and those were two of their best non-con opportunities. So they lost those two, and then they got whipped by UConn, which is that's to be expected. And then they gave up 88 to St. John's, and that was like, ugh, that's not great. But they rebounded and beat Princeton this weekend, which is beat Princeton on the road. So that's a really quality win for them. So they're 5-4 now and trending back up. They still have work to do though, but that's a positive weekend for them. Not great weekends for Xavier and Butler, which is, as you'll learn as we go along here, that's to be expected. Xavier and Butler on the women's side are not Xavier and Butler on the men's side. They're bad. Butler lost at home in 4 overtimes to Denver on Friday. I actually watched a lot of that game, so I think I deserve some credit because Butler is awful, and I watched them for a good stretch. And it was not. It was a real. You want to need to send me. You need to go to the best cookie place in Boston and get me.
Every time you have to watch a painful game, like I guess DePaul games from like 4 years ago, like yeah, you deserve a cookie. I'll send you one, man. I got you.
Okay, cool. Appreciate it. So Denver,
watching bad ball.
Yeah, Denver hit like a 3 at the end at the buzzer at the end of the second overtime. No, end of the third overtime, and then beat them in the 4th overtime. So that made Butler 0-9, and then they lost to Illinois today. So they're 0-10. And honestly, I don't know if they're gonna win a game. I'm looking at the way their schedule lines up, and I just, other than Xavier at home, I'm not sure there's a win there. So that's something to watch. Like, can Butler pull off a winless season?
I'll check the odds tonight.
Yeah. So I love how much you're humoring me. So here's the thing where I kind of think Butler went wrong. So Butler was pretty good a minute ago. Like a minute, I mean like 2 years and 3 years ago. Okay. They were a pretty salty team. Like they won 20 games. They easily in the NIT, always gave Creighton fits. They kicked Creighton's ass every time Creighton went to Hinkle, which that's not shocking to you. That's
Hinkle, yeah.
That's a standard operating procedure for the Jays.
Mm-hmm.
But they made some coaching changes, and I don't know why they did this, but I think they might be regretting it. They hired the coach that Xavier fired like 2 years ago.
Usually not a good start. Not a good place to start.
You know what I'm saying? I just want to go on a little bit of a tangent here. So this like in my time covering Big East women's basketball, I had I don't like to talk bad about people, but I'm just saying this coach struggled with like end game situations frequently. And when Xavier made the decision to not have him be their coach anymore, I kind of thought that makes sense. I'm trying to be nice, right? Is that a kind way to put it?
That's a very kind way to put it. This is I'm really picking up what you're putting down.
Here's one example that stands out in a big way, so you can kind of understand why I'm critical, right? Because I don't want to be mean. We don't want to be mean on this podcast. So come back in time with me. Xavier, coached by this person. I think Craig Neal, I think is maybe I'm saying that first.
I was about to say you're so respectful. You didn't even use his name.
Yeah, well, I just got to make sure.
Yeah, here we are.
Here we are. He went and named him. So they were playing DePaul when DePaul was like leading the league, So it was a chance for, a really good win for Xavier. They are down 1 at home. They need a foul to kind of extend the game, So they foul. They send Butler to DePaul to the free throw line. 73-72. And in the women's game, when you call timeouts, you can advance the ball. It's not like the men where you have to bring it full court. So you can, if you get the ball back, you can call timeout, you can advance the ball, and you're basically running a quarter court set to tie the game or win it, right? Okay. So DePaul is up 1. Xavier fouls. It's 1-1. I want to stress that it's 1-1. This the 2-shot situation was not in play yet. So it's 1-1. Okay. 73-72, 1-point game, 1-1. DePaul's going to the free throw line. Jordan, when it's 1-1, what does that mean if you miss?
That you got it's a live ball.
It's a live ball. Good boy. It's a live ball. He knows. He remembers what it's like to play, right? Live ball.
Sometimes.
Okay. So it's a live ball if DePaul misses a free throw, right? Which means grab it, call timeout. You're down 1 with the ball, and you get to execute a half-court set.
Yeah.
For some reason, he told it. For some reason in this situation, he instructed his players not to line up at the free throw line and like block out. He made them, you know how when guys like shoot, when it's a 2-shot foul, you don't line up like at the free throw line. You just, like come for the second one and line up and then go for the ball, you know? He made them like stand back at like half court and watch the free throw. And I guess he was going to have them line up for the second free throw. Well, what happened was DePaul missed the first free throw. So the ball just bounces and DePaul like had people there. So they just grabbed it and just held it. And then Xavier had to foul again and wasted like 3 seconds. So by the time they got the ball back, they were down 3 with like 0.6. It was like there was no time to do shit. And I was just like, I can't believe a coach did that. So
I don't even know. I can't even think of. I'm trying to be nice as you were, to think of like maybe what benefit of the doubt I can throw here, being like, in what situation would that have been smart?
There isn't one.
There is one.
Because I watched that game live and I was thinking about it for hours. I was like
why would I can't even come up with a fake good answer. Why would anyone ever do that?
I've tried.
Like, I guess the only thing I can come up with is, was he that sure she was gonna like make the free throw?
Right.
And then, but at that point, even if you are, do you think that the other team is that dumb that they're not gonna, or did he think it was 2 shots? Did he say after the game?
There's 3 things in my head. One is he thought it was a 2-shot foul. 2, ineptitude, just utter ineptitude. And 3 is you were trying to lose. That's the only 3.
Yeah, those are the only explanations. That's it. That's what it boils down to.
And the first one is just bad coaching awareness. The second one is what is the truth, obviously. And the third one is like, just what, you know? So, yeah, so they fired him anyway. So anyway, fast forward, they fired him. And then Butler hired him to be an assistant, a lead assistant. And now
so he's still around.
Yeah, he's an assistant coach for Butler now. He's like the lead assistant coach, and they're 0-10. And I'm thinking that's not a coincidence.
Can I say something ridiculous now, because I'm only putting 2 in? I'm from Boston, and you know how it is out here. Can I just say something?
Simple mathematics are running around in your head right now.
I got a weird coincidence. I'm thinking of what if this man just bets on all his games and he loses them on purpose? What if he's making what if he's just making a million?
Can you get Vegas odds on women's basketball right now? Like,
I have no idea, man.
Where's he betting? What kind of black market shit? Like,
hey, I bet you anything you could find a bookie in the streets of Boston that'll get you college basketball.
So he's got a bookie in the streets of Boston that's letting him make money on Butler? Like,
you know what I'm trying to say.
The streets of Indy.
It sounds like from this crazy scenario that you said, like in that game, he might have been trying to lose, and now to hear that he's 0-10.
Jordan, but I've established that he's not a good coach, is what we're saying. I'm saying that.
I couldn't take, I'm sorry.
Definitively.
That much.
I was giving him the benefit of the doubt, but now I'm not anymore.
If I ever lost anything 10 straight times, I'd just quit. I don't know. I don't think there's anything I've ever lost.
Damn. Okay. I feel like that was harsher than anything I said. They have a whole season left to play.
Well, now we're here.
We've
We've arrived at this point in the conversation. So
now I kind of think I want you to watch Butler first, just in case.
Oh, I do too now. I do too now.
No,
you have thoroughly convinced me now. You have given me enough context to this. I am watching Butler play.
I need to figure out I want to see who they play to see if this is worth if how funny this could get. Because if they play someone really good, that might beat them.
Did you see the game you watched with Xavier Butler?
No, I was saying I hope it's someone really good that would beat them by 60, so you could have it would be really funny for you to.
Oh yeah. No, I would love that. You know what? I'm feeling their Butler.
What is it? Oh, they're playing like Evan. I don't even know if Evansville is good. They're playing Evansville at home.
Yep, they're getting a dub. What day?
What day? It's not until next Wednesday. So yeah, that's too far away. 10 days away. We'll record another one in between that. So you got to get a different game in.
All right, we'll find one.
But Wednesday, December 2nd, December 22nd, your game of the week.
Oh, I'm locked in. Butler Xavier. I'm writing it down on the calendar.
Butler Evansville at Hinkle is your game of the week that week.
Okay.
So if they haven't quit by then, that's your game of the week. But they are currently 0-10 for today, so they might have already quit. You said they lost.
They're better than me.
Their winning streak is actually more than. You know what's funny is they beat DePaul at the end of the year last year.
Really?
Yeah.
See, that's the thing that end of year happens. These teams it's what happens with teams like the Lions when you see they're just man, we need to get one. We need to just get one win. Feel good. It might be a good team we're playing, but hey, we'll get it. We are clear. They just have that comment in the locker room. You're like, look, we know we're not better than this team. And that's okay. But today we can be, and we will, and that's it. That's what happens. I've been there. I'm on both sides.
In their defense, there is an injury that's key for them. I'm not sure it's defensible for 0-10, but it is kind of defensible for them struggling. Is this kid Genesis Parker, who I think was a graduate senior, so one of these super seniors. She tore her ACL. It looks like. I don't know if she tore her ACL, but it's a bad knee injury. Looked ACL-ish. Against Indiana, who's really good. And it was a decent game at that point. They were only down, I think, 12. And then they lost by 30 after that. But, so maybe they could have been okay, but it's bad right now. So.
Well, I'm excited to find out with you.
You're excited to find out how bad. Yeah. So that's Butler. And Xavier got beat by Cincinnati today, so Xavier is 2-6 or 2-7, and they haven't beaten a team. They haven't beaten a team that's got a win. Does that make sense? Did I say that right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah. The teams they've beaten are all over on the year. So I think the combined record of the teams they have wins over is 0-21 or something like that.
Wow.
So I guess kudos to them for not losing those games, right?
Yeah. No,
that's something, isn't it?
Hey,
don't apologize for winning.
Never apologize for winning.
Okay.
Never.
So yeah. So that's a positive thing we said about Xavier. So check that off the box. UConn had a tough week, right? They're trying to learn how to play without Paige.
I actually did that game. I did watch a little bit of
Georgia Tech or UCLA.
Georgia Tech.
Okay.
Just because I was close to the girl who plays on the team there now. When she played she's transferred from K-State.
Okay.
And so that game was interesting. I didn't know that. I didn't know that. Honestly, how long is Paige out?
See, that's kind of up in the air. Her original timetable for recovery / return to action is 6 to 8 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
But there was a report out this week, or from UConn itself, that said that she's considering having surgery to repair the injury, and if she has surgery, it adds another 6 weeks. It adds another 6 to 8 weeks to that, which would push her return date to late February. At that point, I'm well, that's maybe she's just done for the year. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Because that's all I was going to say. I didn't.
Yeah, so it is a little. Yeah, it's a little up in the air right now. Right now, it's 6 to 8 weeks, but if she has surgery, it's late February. So we'll see. But They looked really bad against Georgia Tech without her. And honestly, I think they're going to struggle offensively in general without her because, I mean, she's a prodigy, man. Like, she's just
I was supposed to be. What
she's
do
the
you mean?
best playmaker in the country.
Oh, a
Like,
team's gonna. Yeah, what do you mean?
Yeah.
I was like, a team's gonna struggle offensively without arguably the best player in the country.
I mean, it's like what you guys like were offensively without Maurice. Like, he was the best facilitator in the league that, or in the country
in the country.
It was Lonzo Ball, Maurice.
It was him and Lonzo Ball. Yeah, it was it.
And so, like, there's a drop off.
Maurice was better.
Yeah, Maurice was better.
It was. The numbers prove it.
But the point is, there's a drop off when you lose like someone like that, right?
And I think
there's some guys that aren't replaceable. Paige is one of those people that's just not replaceable. So they did beat UCLA this weekend, which is good because UCLA is a solid squad and it's a good confidence booster for UConn because they got to figure out how to play without Paige at least for a month or so, maybe 2 months, maybe longer. But there's still problems with UConn. Like, they didn't close that game great. They were bad at the free throw line. They're still really post heavy, and when you're really post heavy, like, you know what I mean? Like, there's only so much you can. Yeah. There's only so much potential your offense has when you're post heavy. You know, so.
It's evident that they struggle to get any type of real rhythm around offense without her. And
they have almost no
as expected.
Yeah, for sure.
As expected.
Yeah, so they're a little bit more human these days, but they did get a win to at least feel good about themselves. Marquette looked good this week. I think they beat a bad North Dakota team by a lot of points. DePaul got a good quality win. The women are really good, off to a really good start. I think their only loss is A&M right now, and they just beat top 15 Kentucky on the road. So DePaul basketball went to the state of Kentucky and said, like, planted a flag.
So DePaul runs the state of Kentucky right now.
Yeah, they're the Bluegrass State. Is that what it's called? Is that the nickname?
Yep.
Yeah,
I've heard that once or twice.
Yeah, DePaul owns that thing now because the men. David Jones went and dropped a 30 ball on the Yum Center, and then the women went and beat Kentucky and Ryan Howard. So
I never would have thought we would start off a podcast that we had together talking about DePaul, and then I never thought that
we would end one.
We ending on like DePaul being like, why have we talked so much about DePaul? Like, this is
they did good.
This is a lot about the Big East. This says the Big East.
We're golf clapping for DePaul right now.
All right.
Carrying the flag for Big East Week in Review episode 2 on Scurry and the Scrub, DePaul basketball.
DePaul basketball, man.
DePaul ball is what they call it on the women's side. They call it DePaul ball.
They can have that. That's an established thing that that sounds like an established thing that they had. But if the men start coming out here talking about some DePaul ball, bro, come on now.
They've been using that nickname for a good like 2 decades. You don't love it, huh? They can have it. You said
the women can have it. The men can't. The men can't use it.
Oh, then they can't use that yet.
Yeah.
Can David Jones use it? 33 and 14.
Yes, he can use it.
Okay,
he got it. He can call it whatever he wants.
What about our guy Nick Ongenda, 8, 9, and 8? Like, that's.
No, please, if he ever come around me saying something, DePaul ball, bro, I'm gonna be like, yeah, stop that.
You just show him the highlight of like, what did you guys have, like 6 alley-oops in a row in transition against them?
Yeah, I'm gonna be like, bro, remember? I know you all big and stronger now, but remember when you was a child when you was throwing lobs over your head? Yeah.
Right. There was I don't know if we ever told you this either, but like there was a moment when all that was going down, and you were obviously in a different space mentally because that was really exciting to watch. But Dave Lato on the other end of the floor was like, there was moments in that game where he was just like staring at the floor in front of him. And I kind of felt sad for the man because his team was getting highlight reeled. Usually you don't get highlight reeled in D1 basketball. Like, usually you're more, there's more resistance to it. But that night there was no resistance. Yeah. Remember when Mitch shot that 40-footer after you guys like went on like 15-0 run or something? Remember he banged that shot off the glass and he came back and caught that DHO from Marcus, that flip back, and let that 40-footer go, and it was just like a hair long, like dead on accurate, but like just long, like back rimmed it. If he had hit that, the CenturyLink Center would have
would have exploded.
It would have collapsed.
It might
the beams would have melted.
It might have shaken it to the point where there would have been on the court.
Yeah, that would have. It's a good thing he missed because we would have all died. Like the place would have collapsed on us.
Yeah, I remember. I think I was like, I almost was about to like fall on the floor. I was like leaning.
Yeah.
I don't know what would have happened.
It would have been crazy. I think that's it. We got what else? You got anything on your mind? Anything else we haven't touched on yet?
No, that was a good wrap up.
Yeah, it's a good healthy weekend review number 2.
We'll definitely we got to get a Twitter poll out there. Make sure we can
Jordan's Biggie,
because that'll be good too. Because if I can get some, we can get some feedback on Twitter of people who were watching the game. I can watch. We could tweet about it together.
Yeah, I'll put out a poll. I'll pick like the 4 games or whatever from the week, and we'll let people choose which one you got to watch. So
love it. Love it.
We'll get it figured
out. Can't wait.
All right, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. We appreciate you. This has been our Scurry and the Scrub Big East Weekend Review, episode 2. For Jordan, my guy, I'm Matt. Thanks for tuning in. We'll talk to you next week.